Most companies throw new sales reps into the deep end of the pool without teaching them how to swim, and then they wonder why 80% of them drown in the first 90 days. So how do you avoid an underperforming team that kills deals that could be turning into new customers? Create a championship level onboarding. When you stay to the end of this video, I'm going to show you the exact 2-week system that transforms new sales reps into highly profitable closing machines. But before we do that, let me tell you about the $50,000 mistake that taught me this lesson the hard way. So a few years ago, I hired what I thought was going to be one of our star performers at the company, which was doing well into 8 figures a year, cash collected. Now here's the thing, this sales rep had a great resume. They were confident in their interview, all the right answers, but 3 months later, I had to let him go, and it cost us more than just time and effort. It cost me deals, team morale, and a whole lot of frustration. That frustration is what led me to completely redesign how sales reps are onboarded into companies where I'm running or consulting their sales team. Now, when you follow the complete onboarding playbook I'm gonna lay out in a minute, this is gonna let you take sales reps from 0 to hero in just 14 days. No more months of waiting to see if they'll work out. You'll know in 2 weeks whether you have a future top performer or someone who needs to find a different company to pay for their development. Because that's what you're doing when you bring in someone that isn't good enough to turn more of your leads into clients. You're paying for their development in leads, time, energy, and effort. Every time a sales rep misses an opportunity in a call to expand the problem because they didn't know what to say or they didn't catch what the prospect said, it costs you money. Every time a sales rep misses a follow-up because they were too dang lazy to check the CRM or keep a hot list of prospects that didn't close on calls, but absolutely would close in the next 6 months, it costs you money. Every time a sales rep takes 24 hours to contact a new lead, instead of reaching out to them within the first 10 minutes of opting in, or only contacting them once instead of 9 times in the first 5 days, it costs you money. So what's the difference between a highly profitable championship level sales team and one that barely breaks even or causes the company to lose money? It's how effective they are at turning new leads into new clients. That's it. Think about onboarding a new sales rep like teaching someone to drive a race car. You wouldn't just hand them the keys and say, good luck at the Indianapolis 500, right? But that's what most companies do with new sales reps. So here's what typically happens. The new rep shows up Monday morning. Someone says, here's your logins, here's your Zoom account, here's a list of leads in the CRM. Start calling them and you'll start getting your booked calls coming in the calendar soon. And like the equivalent of this is giving somebody a Ferrari and expecting them to win races without even knowing where the brake pedal is and where the gas pedal is. Most sales reps, when you look at the data, take 6 to 9 months to reach full productivity. And that's 6 to 9 months where you're paying someone while they figure it out through trial and error. And meanwhile, your competitors are out there just absolutely eating your lunch. Professional race car drivers don't just jump in and start racing. They spend weeks in simulators learning every turn, understanding the car's mechanics, practicing with their pit crew. And that's exactly what the 2-week onboarding system does for sales reps. Before your new driver even gets to the track, you want to make sure their car is ready. Same with sales reps. The Friday before they start, set up all their accesses, their CRM, their email, sales scripts, training portals, if you have them. Send them a text letting them know it's ready. This eliminates that nervous first day energy and starts to get them excited instead of anxious about coming into your company. Just like that driver needs to know every turn before hitting the track, your rep needs to know every part of your sales script. Here's how we do it differently to set our reps up for success. That first Monday to Wednesday, it's 3-hour training sessions, role-playing each section, understanding what outcome they're looking for in the sales script. They understand not only what they're looking for, but every part of their conversation and what a good response sounds like from the prospect. They're not just memorizing words. That's a great way to become a robot. They're learning how to read the road. Now they get on the track, but with training wheels. Thursday and Friday, it's 100 dials to leads that are already in your CRM that first week. And why do you think that might be important? Like, why is it important to actually call the leads and have conversations? It's low pressure. It's just conversations, getting them used to the prospects and getting their reps in. It's like letting them drive around the track at 30 miles an hour before they have to go race. Isn't that better than having them talking to a prospect you paid $300 to $1,500 to book a call with just for them to have a conversation for the first time and cut their teeth? It is. It's going to save you a ton of money. Then there's a sales call review and Q&A on the Thursday and Friday that they make those dials, where they're expected to bring their call recordings from those conversations into that session for review so they can get expert guidance and feedback. Now, if you stopped there and did nothing else, you would already be in the top 15% of companies in training your sales reps. But if you want a championship level sales team, here's what championship level action looks like. After the first week, where we did 3 hours of sales training, 100 outbound dials to leads in the CRM on Thursday and Friday, getting those calls reviewed and question answered in the daily sales call review and Q&A, now we're moving into the second week. For the second week, if full-timers do 100 dials, your new rep still does 100 dials. Think of this like racing in the minor league, same skills, lower stakes. Every day they bring their calls to the office hours with the sales onboarding specialist. Just like a race car driver reviews footage with their team, your rep reviews every conversation, getting real-time coaching. And remember that $50,000 mistake I mentioned? Here's what happened. I hired that rep, gave him a quick overview, and I'll be honest, the business was very busy at the time, and I basically ignored him for 2 months because he had done so good previously. I thought, man, this guy's experienced, he'll figure it out. And I was wrong. He was making the same mistakes over and over, developing bad habits. By the time I realized it, those habits were cemented. He was like a race car driver who learned to take every turn wrong and was nearly impossible to retrain. That failure didn't just cost money. It frustrated me so much that my frustration was spilling over the rest of the sales team. And I thought maybe I was just bad at picking people. And then I realized the problem wasn't the people I was hiring, it was how I was training them. And when I implemented that 2-week system, everything changed. Out of the last 25 hires we've made at Hardly Selling into companies, 18 of them have exceeded expectations within their first month. Not only because they were better candidates because of the hiring system we have, but because we gave them a better foundation. So how do you implement this? Make a list of every single access your new rep needs: CRM, email, scripts, training materials. Get this ready the Friday before they start, just like preparing a race car before race day. Block out those first 3 days for intensive script training, going over outcomes. Don't let anything interrupt this. It's like simulator time. Completely focused, no distractions. Identify leads that have fallen out of your process that are in your CRM. These become your practice dials. Real conversations, but lower pressure. Office hours every single day for the first 2 weeks. Non-negotiable. This is where the real learning happens. And after Thursday of week 2, you make the call. Are they attending the training? Are they making their dials? Are they showing improvement and up to standard? If not, then they're out. And it's better to cut losses after 1 week of half capacity than 6 months of paying to put calls on this person's calendar. And here's what most business owners get wrong. They think onboarding is an expense. Onboarding is actually an investment with a massive ROI. When you properly onboard a sales rep, you're not just training one person, you're potentially adding hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue to your business. And this isn't right for everyone, but if you don't have the time or expertise to hire and train a new sales rep that can create a championship for you, at Hardly Selling, we have one of the most extensive hiring and onboarding processes for companies we work with. And there'll be a link in the description or the first comment on more details if you're interested in how we can help. But think about this. While your competitors are still doing the sink or swim method, you're creating a systematic advantage. Your reps hit the ground running, and they are just off into the races making sales while theirs are still figuring out how to log into Slack and onboard a new client. Remember how I said most companies are throwing their reps into the deep end? Well, now you're not just teaching them how to swim. You're training Olympic level swimmers. Your 2-week system doesn't just create competent reps. It creates confident, capable sales professionals who see your company as the place that actually invested in their success. So try this system with your next sales hire, document everything, track the results, and see the difference it makes. And don't just take this video as gospel. Listen to this. Since implementing this system, we've had a 75% success rate with new hires reaching full productivity within 30 days. And just as importantly, cutting out the underperformers after 2 weeks if they aren't showing up to win a championship for your company. When you compare that to the industry average of 6 to 9 months to get up to speed, you can see why this changes everything. And if you found this video valuable, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear what your biggest challenge you faced when onboarding sales reps. I read every comment and often create videos based on your questions. Look, building sales teams is hard work. It takes time, energy, and expertise to do it right. You can either spend months through trial and error figuring this out, or you can implement this proven system starting today. So make sure you stop throwing your reps into the deep end where they're going to drown and start teaching them how to swim, and not only swim, but swim at an Olympic level. We'll see you on the next one.